1000 years from now. Documented history means what? In today's world, whatever we are doing, we are basically capturing pictures, making videos, and putting that on the Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, right? All over the social media, you can get to see what human beings are doing today, digital era. But if we want to know what human beings have been doing 1000 years ago from now, we don't have a video or a picture. What about human beings 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, 6000 years ago? We have no clue basically because we don't have any pictures or videos. But does it mean that we are completely lost? Does it mean that we have no way to know about them? There are still ways. Okay? There was a time when human beings started drawing pictures from the cave, right? Those cavemen, they were human, but not like us probably. They were not Homo sapiens. Maybe they were Homo erectus. There was Neanderthals. There were other types of humans. Okay, and of course, we get to see different paintings from the cave wall. We can
That way then.
comment on that. And we humans are like always trying to create something in the physical world. What do you think we want to create by painting, by making a statue with clay, with stone? Okay, so from those times, maybe 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000 years ago, human beings have been making different things, right? We can study those, we can analyze those, and that is how we can get to know about their story. What was their activities? Okay. So anyway, we don't have much time, and India, as I told you, it's a very big country, and there is so much history in a single class. As you understand, very difficult to even give you a summary, but I will do my best. It is said that about 70,000 or about 55,000 years ago, humans first migrated from Africa to India. If you look at that map, look where Africa is. Okay, look. From Africa, humans came to India, and they were, of course, different type of humans. They were nomads. They were basically hunter-gatherers. Okay, the settlement actually, when humans started doing agriculture, they actually domesticated crops and animals. Meaning, humans learned how to domesticate cows and horses, goats, chickens, and they learned how to do the agriculture. That is the real settlement. Then people don't have to go out in the forest killing animals for eating always, right? So that is we called civilization or birth of civilization probably, and that happened about 10,000 years ago from now. Okay, from like 5,000 years ago from now, people first started to build houses, they started to build smart cities, and we had a great civilization in this part of India. There was Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, they are the twin cities, and that time they really built smart city, having big fantastic sewage system, having a big beautiful pond for like taking bath at the center of the city, and all other type of facilities for the betterment of the for the better lifestyle of the society. Okay, and just imagine that was happening almost 5,000 years ago, 2,600 years before Christ era, to be precise. Okay, and that time it was not only the indigenous people of India, it was not only the human beings who have been living in India. There were people who came from outside India, from this European region, from this Iran, this region actually, and they were called Aryans. Okay, because of climate and because of the, you know, that those people were taller, white skinned. Okay, and the people in India, they were dark skinned. Why? Because of climate. Because what is our physical structure, our skin color, all these things are determined by the temperature, by the geographic location and the climate, right? Nothing else. So anyway, so there is a mixed. When these outside people came, these Aryan people, they mixed with these native people, indigenous people, and there were propagation of those civilizations. But anyway, to tell the long story short, the great civilization, during that time the Vedic era started. So before Christ era, just think about that. We are in the Christ era. Before Christ era, you go back 1700 years ago. That is kind of the starting of the Vedic era. And it ran for nearly 1000 years. Veda means knowledge. During that time, human beings actually, because they did not have to worry too much about the food and the houses, because they learned how to do the agriculture and domestication of animals, they were asking many philosophical questions about the creation of the universe, about the solar system, about the human lives, about spirituality. So that was, you can call in our language, golden age, where people have so many questions and so many explanations in their own ways, right? In today's textbook, sometimes we read about European science, 15th century, 14th century, Copernicus, Galileo, Isaac Newton, right? And they have been asking questions, but it was only 500 years ago in Europe. But I am talking about a time which is like 3,500 years ago happening in India. And they were documenting all these things. They did not have your page or pen like that. They had to tell their thoughts. So the next generation would remember those things, and that is how the knowledge would pass from one generation to the next generation. That's called the oral tradition. Before they could figure out how can they inscribe it on the stone, on different types of leaves like palm leaves, they kind of were able to build that kind of material on which they can pen it down. It's not like the pen we use today. But what I'm trying to tell you, they had that kind of technology. But most importantly, they were able to build a great civilization so long ago. Okay, they were developing social hierarchy based on the jobs of the people. They divide the society in different castes. Now, caste actually is like an English word, like jati, or depending on the skin color, they divided people just for the easy management of the society, nothing else, so that you can administer the society in an easy way. People, if I just go to that slide, it is easy for you. The people who were involved in the knowledge generation and knowledge propagation, like the priest, they are the teachers, okay? They were supposed to be like the thinkers and teachers, they are the priests, the Brahmins. Next is the Kshatriya. So those kind of people who had well-built muscle, right? And they were very strong, they could take part in war, and they can be the soldiers. They were the warriors and the kings. They were the Kshatriyas. Third group is Vaishya. They were mostly in business. Okay? So India was doing a lot of business. Business in the ancient world, you can see, that is a trade route. So people from India, they were going, you can see, waterways, they were coming all this region, they were going in different parts. So people who were involved in business, also inland businesses inside that, because people need products, right? Whatever agricultural product, whatever you produce in the agricultural land, you want to supply it to other parts. Businessman, you are making clothes, you want to supply it to other parts. So you understand what is business. Then oyster, merchants, okay? They are the landowners. Shudra, those are the common people who are involved in other kind of activities like carpentry, pottery, making something, some toys, okay, like cooking food, okay, Shudra. So that was just an easy categorization of people based on the jobs that they have been doing. During that time, that Vedic era, once again, remember the age, time, it was like 3,500 years ago. That was like 1,000 years before the Christ era, right? That time, no one told that a Vaishya cannot be a Brahmin. No one told that a Shudra cannot become a Brahmin. Everything was based on karma. Karma means your work, your function. Yes, if you are studious enough, if you acquire much knowledge and wisdom, you can go, suppose you are a Shudra, you are working like as a potter, but you are really enthusiastic about gaining knowledge and to become wise, and yes, you can become a Brahmin. So no one told that you will be stuck being a Shudra if you are born in a Shudra family. But over the time, the structure got kind of stuck. So as we came from this ancient India, in the medieval, middle age India, people kind of told, no, just because you are born in a Brahmin family, you will be a Brahmin forever. You are born in a Shudra family, you will be born in a Shudra forever. That was not the case when this model was built in the Vedic era. That was just a concept. So they wanted to propagate this idea of karma, that every human being, because of their thoughts, their actions, they can land up becoming great, becoming noble, or they can become ignoble. Everything depends on the karma, the thoughts and the actions that they're doing. That is a very beautiful concept, as you can see. I remember during that time, they had also categorized the life in a very nice way. When you are students, you will be studying in a residential school, meaning with the guru, with the teacher. Guru means who brings a student, means, you know, student meaning? Student means someone who can painfully like apply oneself to learn something. Your student means you have the ability to painfully apply yourself to learn something, to gain the knowledge. That's why you are a student. And guru means someone who can take you out of the darkness into the light. You don't know means you are in darkness. Your knowledge is not there, means darkness. Only guru can take you out of this darkness and put you in the light. Ah, now I know, it's a knowledge, light of knowledge. That's why guru. You got the point? So students used to live in the house of guru in that campus. During that time, their all focus was on gaining knowledge only. Okay, that is the studentship. After that, they would enter a job. They could go doing the job for a merchant. They could go becoming a warrior or a king or maybe a peasant or a servant or whatever. That is the family life. When they would marry and they would have kids, they would raise them. And maybe that would go for 40 or 45 years of their age. After that, they would go to a forest. Okay, they would interact with the rest of the biodiversity. They would really appreciate and take care, preserving the nature and the biodiverse community. That is another phase of life. And in the very last phase of life, they would renounce all this materialistic life and they would completely banish themselves from society and they would go meditate, try to unite with the nature, thinking about the spiritual being, thinking about God or nature. So you see, that was like the focus of life in different stages. Being a student, gain knowledge. When you are a family man, do your duties as a family man, right? Students, if you have any question, you can ask me. Do you have any question? We are talking about a time which is like 3,500 years ago. Just try to imagine that, okay? That time, no digital camera. So human beings have been working under the inspection of nature only. No one is watching them, only other fellow human beings, and the nature is watching them. No camera is watching them, okay? All right. So now, during that time, like once again, 2,400 years ago, two great epics were written, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ramayana, that is great, like Mahabharata is such a long epic, it is much bigger. If you add Iliad and Odyssey, you know Iliad and Odyssey, these two great epics, right? If you put Iliad and Odyssey together, Mahabharata is even much bigger than that. It's a very complex epic. The tales of lives of kings and its war and whatnot, everything that you can think about sociology, psychology, about economy, about trade, about how to maintain a kingdom, how to deal with society, all those elements are there in the Mahabharata. And Ramayana was written little earlier than Mahabharata. That is also a great epic. That is the story. That is the story of Rama. He is an Aryan from northern part of India. And Ravana, he is a king from Sri Lanka. Okay. And Ravana was embodied. Ravana was a very knowledgeable person. He has 10 heads, meaning he has like knowledge in 10 different directions minimum. He has 10 hands, meaning he is also physically very powerful. So Ravana actually is a very powerful man, having great knowledge, great physical strength, and making his country truly golden country, meaning truly wealthy and prosperous country. Okay, that is how Ravana was portrayed. And then Rama was coming from this part, and how Rama was ruling, how Rama is supposed to rule his country. But Ramayana is all about idealism. How an ideal husband should be, ideal family should be, ideal son should be. I am not going to talk about the epic, this is a different thing. But Ramayana, Mahabharata was written before Christ era, right? In today's world, if you want to write a book with all your friends put together, 100-page book, it's very difficult. You have computer, internet, Google, YouTube, you will see, and during that time, all they had was their thoughts, right? Maybe they would assemble, they would discuss, they would meditate, they would think, and they did not have even a notebook and a pen. They had to tell the stories, right? Tell the ideas, and that would run from one generation to another before they could find some material to document it. All right. So during that time, so let me go back to this. 323 before the Christ era. Again, I am talking about 2,300 years back. Chandragupta Maurya actually was able to build such a huge connected country. during that time India was divided in very small states, okay, and every state like 16 states minimum, more states were there, small kingdoms like family kingdom, because they were fighting with each other. Oh, everyone wanted to conquer others land, everyone wanted to expand their territory, right? There was no peace, and people from outside India like Alexander was about to attack India. That Alexander was a man who wanted to conquer the entire world, right? Alexander thought, I will conquer the entire world to be the Samrat or to be the great president of the entire world, something like that. In India, there are so many divisions among people and they were constantly fighting. They were not even aware that external forces are coming to conquer India. During that time, to tell the story short, that Chandragupta Maurya was like a 12 years old kid when Chanakya, he was actually a professor. Chanakya Kautilya, he was a professor in a university somewhere here, Takshila. That is the first university in the world, Takshila we say. Okay? He was an eminent scholar. He had a great yogic power also. He could like envision. He was a great visionary. Okay? He actually trained Chandragupta to be the Samrat of India. And together they were able to connect all different parts of India and build this huge empire. It is called Maurya Empire. Mura was the name of Chandragupta Maurya, so he called it Maurya Empire. But anyway, that was the first time such a huge empire was built. After that, Ashoka was a grandchild of Chandragupta. He is known as the one of the greatest emperors of India. Okay, in that age, remember it was again before Christ era. He was a very ruthless and cruel man in his first life. Okay, he used to punish people like anything. Anyone saying anything against the country or against him, he would just put them in death penalty. He was such a cruel person. But in his afterlife, he completely changed because, according to the history, that he fought with the people from here, Kalinga, and more than 1 lakh people are killed. And that is the time, according to history, he realized that that is not the way to conquer the world or the people. We have to be compassionate. We have to love people. And that is how we can actually do some good to society. So Ashoka actually changed into a completely different man and he started propagating Buddhism. By that time, Jainism, Buddhism, this religion was already there in India. Like those religion came into picture around 6,000 before Christ era. 500 years ago before Christ era. 500 years ago there was Buddhism, 600 years ago there was Jainism. What was the main philosophy of this religion? The main philosophy was that to love, ahimsa, that is non-violence. You have to love everyone and all the other biodiversity. Just try to think, before Christ era, 2600 years ago, we have Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. That is like the two great smart cities in this part of India. What was happening in other parts of India? We do not have much information about that, I think. Okay? So, we can tell the history, we can tell the story only when we have the information. But for sure, something else, of course, was happening in other parts of India. But probably we don't have much information about those activities of human beings there. But okay, Vedic era came, Ramayana Mahabharata was written, this caste system was actually generated for easy administration of society. Then, as you can see, the kingdom was built, this huge empire was built. Then, another 500 years into the Christ era, okay? Still people are doing all these great activities, fighting with each other, small states, okay? And then also building universities. There was Gupta Empire. After this Maurya Empire, another great empire came into picture, Gupta Empire. Gupta is the surname, title. So they actually, their age is called Golden Age. During their time, they were able to build, they were able to sponsor for different academic institutions. During their time, another great university, Nalanda University was established in India, in the eastern part of India, here. Okay, and they were also funding money for science and technology and architecture. So that time, now we are talking about 500 years after the birth of Christ, 400 years, okay? During that time, it's called a golden age. Lot of great creations are actually happening, okay? And after this 4th century, we call it Middle Age of India. During that time, yes, different dynasties were working. Okay, as you can see in India, always there were different little kingdoms, different states. Okay, they were always trying to go bigger, fighting with each other. In the southern part, we had Chalukya, we had Chola, we had Pandyans. Okay, different things. Around, I think, 12th century into the Christ era, there was a Vijayanagaram. Okay, when there was Sultanate of people, they are Muslim people, they came from outside India, they could win the war because they had swift horses, very powerful, strong horses. They came here, they started to build their own empire here. So they settled here in the southern Deccan, they were called the Sultanate. Okay, that is in the Mughal era. Mughal era started in the 15th century, right? 16th century, around that time. So before that, we are talking about other Muslim communities. When they came and they formed the Sultanate, they tried to conquer the southern part, and there was this Vijayanagaram. They were based on Hindu religion, Hinduism. They were following the Shiva. Shiva is as you know, Shiva is a lord. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. We will talk about that later. So their culture was based on Hinduism. They actually fought very fiercely with the Sultanate. They did not allow the Sultan to conquer this. In the Middle Age, of course, there are different great creations happening. There are different kingdoms here. There was the Pala Empire here. Pala one, again, that is the surname of a family. So, as you understand, from ancient time until the 4th century, how the development is happening. People came from Africa, once again, 55,000 or 70,000 years ago. Before 10,000 years, they started settle down, doing agriculture, domesticating animals, right? And then they started to build civilization. Great examples are Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, which was built when 2,600 years before Christ era, right? Before Christ, okay? And then Gupta Empire, when we are building universities and funding for what? Science, technology, astrophysics. Then people are doing research. Zero, the great number zero was actually invented, I would say, right, in India. Okay, and without zero, you can see the whole world is what? Cannot really propagate. Zero is such important number, right? Zero. After that, Sultanate, when they came here around maybe 10th or 11th century Christ era. In the 15th century, the Mughal Empire was established, okay, and after that, British actually empire was established. The people, you know that European people, they were coming slowly, and they tried to establish their colony in different parts of India. Let me go to other maps. So dear students, I am only talking right now, but do you have any question? So far, no question. Did you understand this hierarchy, that Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? Did you understand this? Still today in our society we have this hierarchy. Maybe it is not as explicitly as we used to have that time, but in the mindset of people. In different villages if you go, not everywhere, like in big cities, Calcutta, Mumbai, Delhi, maybe people are so busy, they don't have much time to think about all these things. But that notion, that thoughts are still existing in the minds of people. And I did not talk about this untouchable. History is saying that these untouchable people were mostly indigenous people. Indigenous means the native people who did not get the opportunity to work as the priest or the teacher or the knowledge seeker or as the warrior or the king, because those were mostly Aryan people. So these people who were doing so-called dirty jobs like clearing the human excreta, clearing the street, taking care of the garbage, okay? They were always covered with all sorts of darts, okay? And that is how they were called, I'm coming to your question, untouchable, because people would not like to get in touch with them, because rest of the society would think that they are dirty because they are cleaning up the garbage. But do you think they are dirty? No, because they are doing a noble job. Without their help, the society itself will be very dirty. It will be filled with garbage. So these people are called actually Harijan. In modern India, they are called Harijan, meaning they are the children of God. They are doing a great service. Okay, your question.
We watched about a 10-minute documentary a long time ago about a guy that ran the funeral fires. He would put the body on to cremate the body, and why he's an untouchable, but he doesn't want to change. And so Rodney's been fascinated with that, and I think that's what his question's about.
Yeah.
So go ahead and ask.
Why don't they? Why don't instead of having a funeral, why don't they bury the people underground like they do here up here?
I did not get your question clearly. Why?
He's
do
asking why they get cremated rather than get buried.
Yeah, I think it is just a ritual. Like different religion have different rituals. For example, in Hinduism, people are burned. Their bodies are burnt actually. Okay, we put like heaps of wood and we put the body and let it actually burn. In Islam culture,
In America, you do too.
there is a graveyard. They are to bury it. Okay, so it is different rituals for different religion. Different communities have different rituals like that. I don't know much about that exactly why. It depends on the ritual that they are following.
History, maybe people have done it for so long that that's
Yeah.
just the tradition, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
And we have that in America, we just call it cremated.
Yeah, but I was thinking. Yeah, but I was thinking, would it be?
My grandpa's friend Chucky
He's
got
got something to
cremated.
show us.
My dog got
Um,
cremated.
It would be on that, but we can get it, I don't know why it's blocked here.
Are you recording this? Okay, maybe you can stop it right now. You can start it.